Back here with another video today. My name is Reichley Ruby. Welcome to the Football Expert. And today we will be doing a University of Southern California USC football prediction. So down below, like this video if you enjoy it. Comment your thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you think about it today. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And thoughts and opinions down below as well. Help me reach my goal of 6,500 subscribers by the end of June. And check out all the rest of the college football. Well, Cal fans, as many of you know on the channel, this is always a fun prediction to do. Lincoln Riley and the Trojans of Southern Cal. Interesting team. And this year, honestly, will be one of the most interesting years under Lincoln Riley with Jordan Mayava coming back for another year. A very interesting setting that we see here for along with all sorts of other positions. You have, once again, your running back coming back, Wayman Jordan, as well. And a lot of other pieces coming back, particularly on the defensive end. Not too many transfers, only one on the offensive end and 3 on the defensive end. So in a highly transfer-heavy system, you only have 4 starters that are transfer, which is really interesting for a school like USC, which you would predict more. Maybe I'm wrong. Today's video, starting off with a week 1 matchup against San Jose State. August 29th, the San Jose State Spartans will be coming to town and be playing USC. Easy win here. San Jose State has not been a good program as of recently after Brent Brennan went to Arizona after being at San Jose State. And, well, they just darn good team. Big Ten. And this is a USC team that has a lot of expectations. I should also set some expectations here. This is a Southern Cal team that went 9-4 last year with a pretty good season, other than a loss on the road by 10. That game wasn't really close against Notre Dame. And then the Oregon game, that wasn't super close. And then you had the bowl game, which I don't count against you guys. I think that TCU is a good team, but at the same time, bowl games, I don't count them against teams. If you win them and it looks good, then yeah, but I don't think bowl games, except for playoff games, really matter now at this point. So really 2 big losses, and that third loss against Illinois really kind of kept you out of any playoff discussion. I don't think they would have gotten in with the loss to Notre Dame anyway, but at the same time, it did make it a little more interesting there. So USC now coming in with a lot of expectations of, can Lincoln Riley finally get over the hump? 35-18 is overall record with his 4 seasons at Southern Cal. The 7-6 record in 2023 was a bit of a rough one. The 11-3 in best season, honestly, with Caleb Williams when he. And 9-4 has been a better season than it was the year before. The defense has definitely gotten better than it was in years past, but it's still at a point that it still needs to go heading against Fresno State. Very interesting matchup there in the Coliseum, but I still think Fresno State, that should be a win. I don't think you should have much of an issue there. Win there. Then a home game against the Legends. I don't think you have any issues here with the Raging Cajuns, and I think that you should get a win. 3-0, and I know I'm quick with those games, but I want to get into these later games because this later brutal game against Rutgers. Even though this is all the way across the country, I do think that it should be a easy-ish win for Southern Cal. I think they have a little bit too much offensive firepower for Rutgers to deal with, and Rutgers lost their quarterback and running back, and I believe as well. So Rutgers lost a lot. You got a lot of stuff for Greg Schiano and company to replace there in Piscataway, but Rutgers is no slouch either. This is not the same Rutgers that it was like 10 years ago or 7 years ago when it was under like Chris Ash. So Then you have another home game. You come back home, and you got a 3-game stretch here, a very interesting 3-game stretch. Oregon, Washington on the road against Penn State. So 2 very interesting games here. And what I'm going to do here is, I know this is kind of a cop-out, but if we got later into the season, obviously if it's the game of, I'm going to make a prediction. But right here, I'm not going to make a prediction specifically. Instead, I am going to say USC wins one of these 2 games. I think that they probably lose to Oregon and beat Washington, but you could convince me of vice versa, that they're ready for Oregon, that they win that game, and then they have a bit of a letdown game after a big win against Oregon and then lose to Washington. I don't think they win both of these games. I think Jed Fish and Washington is in a great place. Oregon's in a great place. But I also think USC and Lincoln Riley is in a rising place, in which Lincoln Riley needs to win this year. You need to do something here. It cannot be another bad season, 8-5, 7-6 type year. It can't be that. It just cannot. So a win, let's say a win against Washington, a loss to Oregon, but you can convince me to switch those games there. Even though I think Oregon is the better team, I think USC has enough offensive firepower to compete with Oregon, but are the defensive pieces there for USC to be able to stop the Oregon offense with Dante Moore? I don't know, especially the receiving threats. I just don't know if the secondary at Southern Cal has the pieces right now to be able to contain all, like I would start naming them, but there's so many pieces that they have there. So win against Washington, loss against Oregon. Road game against Penn State. Matt Campbell, the new head coach at Penn State, a very interesting combo there. I love the contest. I think Matt Campbell in Penn State just makes sense. It's a good transition from Iowa State. It was a good move. It needed to happen with James Franklin. He was just not going to get done what Penn State fans want him to get done. It's not that James Franklin is a bad head coach. I think he will actually succeed at Virginia Tech. Look at my video and what I had the prediction there. I think that he'll be a good head coach at Virginia Tech. But at Penn State, where the baseline is the 10 wins, not the baseline at Virginia Tech, where a winning season is a decent season and then 10 wins is a great season. And I think James Franklin can do that at Virginia Tech. But on to Matt Campbell in Penn State here. It is going to be a rebuilding year because almost everybody from that Penn State recruiting class, almost everybody from Penn State generally was gone. But at the same time, Rocco Beck is still the starting quarterback. So I find that very interesting. Rocco Beck, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in all. So I proves, but to be frankly honest, until I see Matt Campbell at Penn State with the other pieces that he has, I need him to see him work out in a Big Ten schedule that is so brutal, as USC is finding out. Then you got a bye week and a road game. To be frankly honest with you, other Luke Fickell will still be the head coach of Wisconsin. I just don't think the Luke Fickell experiment at Wisconsin is working out. And to be frankly honest, I'm disappointed because an excellent Wisconsin. I thought Luke Fickell did a good job at waiting at Cincinnati, not taking the first job that he sees, finding a good place that fits him, but it just doesn't seem to be working out. So I have a win there for the Trojans. I just don't think they have issues against the Badgers at all. But be careful with a look-ahead week against Ohio State. But I have them playing Ohio State next. Ohio State coming to town, and I think that this is a game, super, super difficult game to see what happens to it. And to be frankly honest, I have them losing this game. I think Ohio State is a top 3 team in the country. I think that Ohio State is, if not possibly the number 1 team to win the national championship going into this year, definitely in the top 3. I think Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Texas / Georgia / whoever wins the SEC is the top 3 teams to win the national championship this year. Sorry to Indiana. But yeah, I have this as a loss. Ohio State's just, they're too good. They're too good. Ryan Day has too much going on. And then you have a bye week and a road game against Indiana. And this is where I'm going to say it, USC fans, I cannot believe I'm being nice to you guys. I have a upset win here in Bloomington against Indiana for the Trojans because I just think that USC is a team that just they sometimes supposed to and sometimes supposed to. Last year was one of the most interesting years for Lincoln Riley because Lincoln Riley did exactly what he was supposed to do. And don't get me wrong, I think that Indiana is going to be a great team this year. I think Josh Hoover was a good pickup, but I just don't know if they can produce the same level of production throughout the entire year like they did last year with Mendoza. Obviously, you still have some wide receiver, Michigan State, who is just elite. There's no doubt about it in my mind. He's just elite. But I have them as a win there. Head and play Maryland at home. This is going to be once again a win. I think that season for the current Maryland head coach, whose name is now escaping me. I cannot think of his name. Mike Locksley. Mike Locksley, the Maryland head coach. I think it may be at Maryland. I just don't see it working out. He's always great at the beginning of the year. If this game was at the beginning of the year, I'd probably pick Maryland. But at the end of the year, it always tails off, and it always start off like great and then just fall off and be like 8-4 at best, 7-5. Just never ends well. Then a game against UCLA. I forget. So in pass full. And I have this as a win once again. I think UCLA is in a better position than they were last year, but I just don't think Nico Aliava has in his ability to be able to. 10-2 is what I have the Trojans record here. So any people on this video that want to say I'm a Notre Dame homer, I just picked USC to go 10-2 and beat Indiana. So USC fans, let me know what you're below. Hit one of the 2 videos playlist of all my other college football predictions. Hit the subscribe button up here. And as always, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.